Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Live with Kai. We are recording this podcast live today. We're doing it live. We're going to do it live. And I'm super excited because I have a special guest today. I haven't done one of these live interviews in quite some time, and I'm so excited to finally get back into it because this is my first guest that I'm going to be having for you, and out of many. Yeah, I'm super excited because today I'm going to be interviewing my friend Evi Vibez. She has Evi, or she has vibes in her name, which makes her like even more cool. Because I'm a big fan of the vibes just in general, and we're going to be talking about something that I've always wanted to interview somebody about. We're going to be talking about the how cannabis affects mental health. We're going to be talking all about it because this is fascinating, and I've never thought about it really from a mental health standpoint, but now I get to actually have this conversation with someone who has a background in this and has the knowledge to talk about the pros and the cons surrounding this. And she is a cannabis activist, which is really cool, which is a really cool thing. Because we're in 2023. We're in 2023, and it's about that time that we have to have conversations like this because it's becoming legalized in a lot of different states, including the state that Evie is from. And if you follow her story, her Instagram stories, you're going to see a lot of posts in this regard, and I really am super excited to be having this conversation. It's really cool. Hi,
Hey.
can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, perfect.
What's going on? Happy
What's
Happy
up?
Monday.
Happy Monday and congratulations on your award. That's freaking awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
I honestly, I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
And I got a notification this morning. I was tagged in one of their posts. I was like, wait a second, hold on, pause. What?
Well done.
No, it's really, really cool. I'm so excited to be like actually talking to you in person because we've been mutuals on Instagram for quite some time now. And now we're sitting here talking in real life.
Isn't it crazy how things work out? I'm so excited too. I think it's awesome because we both kind of have the thing like, well, one, the vibes in our names, but
Yes.
also we're both on this mission of breaking a stigma and kind
Yes.
of bringing that together in this. And so I think that's so dope. So I'm about bringing that vibes.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. No, like honestly, and I'm so excited to dive into this topic. For those of you that are unaware, I mean, I'm going to introduce the wonderful person on your screen right now. But as she mentioned, we're both into breaking the stigma surrounding a variety of things, but specifically in this case, mental health. And we're going to be talking about cannabis.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about cannabis because you
I
you
know.
are a cannabis activist.
Yes, which is so wild because if you asked me prior to 2016, I
Yeah,
totally would have turned my head away. But
yeah,
it was kind of on this journey of finding like more of a natural route for my mental
yeah,
health, and it's been crazy. It's honestly changed my life. I've been using
yeah.
it every day since 2016, and it's wild. It's been a crazy journey, but um,
Yeah, this is really, really cool. And for those of you that are just joining, if you have any specific questions that you want to ask us, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a little question mark. Put your question in there because I may not see it in the comment section. So if you have any questions that either myself or Evie want to, I'm glad I asked, by the way, before, because I would have said Evie.
yeah, that's totally
I've
fine.
I've known you for
I'm like
like
the
the longest time.
Pokemon.
Wait, you said like the Pokemon. I'm like, I don't know Pokemon at all. But yeah, if you have any specific questions, just hit that little question mark down at the bottom. Let me give a little introduction to the person that you see here. So today we'll be speaking with Instagram influencer and cannabis activist Evi Vibez, who can be found on her Instagram. I put the Instagram handle down at the bottom here, ev.vibes with a Z. And today we're going to be exploring the role cannabis has played in Evie's mental health and how it can potentially help you as well. So let's start from the top. How did this happen? You mentioned that before 2016, I believe you said it was, like
Yes.
you would have turned your head away, but now you're fully embracing this. What happened in 2016?
So I kind of just, we hit like areas and seasons of our life and it was a hard time. And I'm like, man, everything I'm doing right now is not working.
Mm.
It's like kind of the traditional, and just for me personally, it just was not working. So I'm like, what can I do to better my mental health? Because, you know, I'm just not in the great space I used to be.
Mm.
So it was so wild. Actually, my sister, she was like, hey, you should try this. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, you know, I'm just like nervous. I don't know much about it. Um,
Right.
and I took like, you know, just a tiny hit, and I slept great. And then all of a sudden I was like starting to use it more
Mm.
consistently. And I noticed my stress was lowered and my sleep was so much better, was just the like first benefits.
Right.
But then it was crazy. And then over time, so when I wake up in the morning, just to be vulnerable and share something, I
Yeah.
am overwhelmed. I wake up, I have a lot of
Mhm.
things to do. And so for me, I, you know, use cannabis, and it relaxes me and it makes me like help organize my thoughts. I can go
Mhm.
on with my day, have a smile on my face, and really bring the good vibes. I don't
Yeah.
use it to like, you know, everyone uses it for different things, and I
Right.
use it generally for medicinal purposes. Like
Right.
most of the time, you're not even gonna know I'm on it. Like,
Yeah. It's really interesting you say that, because I think sometimes when people think of cannabis, they just think of like a person like sitting in their car, like just smoking up and just like, oh, hey man, what's going on?
for sure,
Like
which is totally
that's what they
cool.
think, but it's way deeper than that, right?
100%.
Hmm.
You know, there's so many like different strains, and you know, sometimes as a first time consumer, it can be really confusing. I was
Yeah.
so nervous when I first hit the dispensary. I was like, oh my God, there's so many options. And
Yeah.
like, usually the bud tenders are awesome to direct you in the right way.
Did you say bud
Um,
tenders?
yes,
That's
so
that's amazing. Oh my
don't
God.
forget to tip your bud tenders. They're like bartenders.
That's fantastic. Oh my God. So how like, so I would imagine there's going to be people that are listening right now that are like, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know if this is something that I want to, you know, I don't want to know if I want to go down this path.
Of course.
If they're listening right now and they're kind of on the fence, maybe, what would you say to them?
I understand like how it can feel so nerve-wracking, but I would recommend looking up the endocannabinoid system. Everybody has it that we need to fulfill, that we really don't get it outside of cannabis. So when you start using CBD, which is one cannabinoid, that's going to help you a lot. If you're going to start and get into THC or like into cannabis, CBD is a great option. Highly recommend full spectrum, just so you get all the cannabinoids and not just CBD specifically, but that's going a little bit farther. But that's just so you know you can get the most benefit. And the other thing I can tell you about CBD oils is if you're looking for more water soluble versus like an oil, because and it's going to be oily obviously, and I'm just giving this advice because I tried so many. I just don't want someone to try it and they're like, oh, this is just
Right,
crap and this doesn't work.
right, right,
So water
right,
soluble, since our bodies are made of water, your body's gonna like just absorb that
right,
better, and you're
right.
gonna feel those benefits generally within like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Unless you're using THC, I use it with like feel it pretty much instantly or
yeah.
like 3 minutes.
Right. How will somebody know what's right for them? Like I know there's a lot of different options out there when it comes to cannabis, and you just listed off like a bunch of them there. How will somebody know what is right for them? Is there a certain feeling that they should go for, or are they just going to kind of know?
So it depends what you're looking to do. So like let's say I'm looking to use it for
Hmm.
sleep. So like the basics for cannabis, there's sativa, hybrid, and indicas.
Hmm.
Sativas are more uplifting, going to give you energy. Hybrids kind of like both the energy and a downer, but an indica usually is great for like pain relief and sleep. So if you go into a dispensary and you let them know, hey, I'm going to use this for maybe like just to calm myself down, to sleep, they'll probably guide you in that indica direction or whatever strain is like specific for that, because terpenes also matter as well, which I won't even get into. So to keep it basic, indica, hybrid, and sativas are that's just kind of like the
Right.
breakdown of
Right. And I would
it.
imagine if they were to go to a dispensary of some sort,
Yeah,
like even if they're confused, like the people working there will work with you, right? Like they'll be like, okay,
absolutely.
I don't like if you might just walk in and be like, I don't know where to start, and will they help the person?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they're there for. Knowing a lot of like, there's a lot of new consumers that come
Hmm.
in, and like I said, it can be very overwhelming.
Hmm.
But just knowing that they're there to help you will just kind of relieve that. And if there's something you may try that it's kind of like trial and error with anything
Hmm.
too.
Right.
You may try something, and you're like, well, I don't like heavy indicas, or I like the heavy indicas because it makes me relax. Everyone's so different. So definitely like start small and don't just like go all head in, because I mean, the worst thing, you'll eat a cheeseburger and fall asleep,
Right.
but you know.
That sounds like, wait, pause. That sounds like the perfect night. That sounds
Right.
amazing. Sounds like my kind of night.
That's what I'm saying.
That's amazing. One of the things I find interesting about you, Evie, is that like you are a cannabis activist, and I want to put an emphasis on the word activist here, because there is a group of a lot of people that are just like, hell no, no, this is not a thing. I don't want this in my life. I don't want this in my town. I don't want this in my state.
For
I don't want this in
sure.
my life, and all of that. What kind of I guess blowback have you seen or received? Like, why is there such a stigma surrounding cannabis?
I think there's a stigma on it just because of like, you know, you go back in times like you were mentioning before. It's like, oh, just like smoking and just chilling and being lazy and not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's so many different strains where you could smoke and clean everything in your house.
Yeah.
So, and I also think that things are produced a little bit differently. Less time has changed and
Mm-hmm.
things have improved.
Mm-hmm.
But I have received like, oh, you're a mom and you
Ooh.
smoke. But honestly, it makes me a better mom. It makes me more patient. It makes me more playful with her because, you know,
Right.
staying young.
Right.
And honestly, I'm very open with her. Obviously, I don't do it around
Right.
her or anything like that. But
Right.
if she's like, I'm like, it's my medicine. If she sees it
Mm-hmm.
like there. But I let her know, like, if this is not age appropriate. It's just weird. I just try to explain it to her. I'm not really hiding it from her,
Right.
but I just don't do it in front of her, you know? So
Right. Sure. Sure. How do you normally respond? Because you're an influencer, and you post about this stuff openly. You talk about it openly, and I would imagine not everybody is obviously on board with what you say.
For sure.
Obviously, some people will want to put out their opinion or respond or comment or something like that. How does that make you feel when somebody pretty much like goes out of their way to be like, no, you're wrong. You're not going to change my mind. You're wrong. How do you handle that?
For sure. For me, I feel like everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't judge you, but if you judge me, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living life, baby.
I love
You're with or without you. Like, life is good. So respectfully, I respect their opinion.
Yeah.
But I know what it's doing for my life, and that's why I show up here, because
Right.
like I would not be able, I have actually social anxiety. It was like really crippling, where I would never even be able to do this before, because my anxiety
So like talk
was
to
so
me
bad.
like live?
Yeah, like I would not, like 100%, like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
I would not be as comfortable. And
Yeah.
I just feel like it really just calms you in a different sense. It's just something you almost have to experience it yourself.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, it's crazy, life changing. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you're comfortable answering this, but are
Yeah.
you open to, do you use cannabis? Are you open to it? Like, what are your thoughts?
I definitely partake.
Awesome.
I definitely partake. So I live on the Jersey side. I live right outside of Philadelphia on the Jersey side, and it's legal in Jersey. And there is a dispensary literally, I don't know, 2 minutes away from where I live.
Awesome.
So it is quite convenient,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
to get stuff. And it really helps me as well, because I get very, very anxious about things, and it's really hard for me to sometimes just like allow my body to just relax and just to kind of like take it all in. And that's honestly the times that it is the most useful for me personally. When the job that I work is very, back and forth. It's very high energy. There's a lot happening. Obviously being a content creator, like I'm always anxious about the stuff that I'm putting out there and all of that. And my body gets very, very, very anxious and tight, and I don't work well under those conditions. And it wasn't until I would say my senior year of college, which was a long time ago, but it wasn't until then that I started to understand the benefits of it, and as time went on in my adult life, I realized that it's not just like, hey, I'm going to sit in my friend's car and hotbox, like
Yeah.
I'm going to use this to my advantage. And obviously, as time has gone on and as some stigma has been lifted a little bit, it's become more widely accepted, which is nice, you know. And I hope that that continues. And you know, I guess my big question here is what is your goal with the activism? Like, so there must be something that you're ultimately shooting for, right? What is your goal here?
For sure. So I have a brand called Evi Vibez in the community, and it's to help break the stigma in like everyday lifestyle, everyday lifestyle things. And I think over time, it like right now it's becoming more acceptable. Right. And I mean, it's like you see people walking down the street with their pen, like nonchalant.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
you know what's going on. You know what's up.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
So I just feel like no one says anything. It's just becoming more acceptable. And so my brand, I just want to keep showing up and showing that you can do this every day today. If it's something that you're open and interested in now, maybe not now, maybe in the future it intrigues you. I just want to show like it can really be used outside of just being like quote unquote lazy stoner.
Right. And I love this. And I'm very curious. Can you walk me through what a day is like for you with it and without it? What is the difference there?
So I haven't taken a break in a long time, but I do take days where I do slow down because the tolerance is like, it's like crazy now, but I wish I could go back in time and have my first tolerance. But now I wake up usually and it's like right next to my bed, like on my desk here. So I generally get up, I either make it the night before, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll kind of make it the night before. So in the morning I'll take like a bowl, kind of go on my day, get ready, do another one at lunchtime kind of thing. Depending how stressful the day is, I might take a dab between that after second bowl. And then probably before dinner and then nighttime.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
so it might not be like a lifestyle for everybody, because I didn't like at first, I'm like, man, I just feel like I'm kind of like hitting this a lot to feel it. But I also incorporated edibles. If I do that, I don't have to smoke as much then.
Right. Is there ever a time that you feel like I guess as you walk through your daily life, that whether it be through a coworker or friends or just overall social environment, that you feel like I need to make sure that they don't know that I'm on this right now? Is there ever moments like that?
It's so funny you say that, because obviously you're around my parents the first time, right? So I was like, I don't know how they're gonna feel about this. It's like my mom and dad, and they were actually at first not supportive, but then they saw how it really did change my mental health, and then they became a supporter. So that was really cool to see, because you know how parents can be. They're like stuck in their ways. And
you know, it's funny that you bring up your parents, because I felt the same way. And then my aunt outed my mom, and come to find out, my mom, when she was in college, was the go-to person for this. Whenever anybody on campus needed any kind of bud, that they would hit my mom up. I was like, Mom, I'm like, Mom, you never said anything. I'm like, you never said anything like that to me before. I didn't know that. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this question in regards to the cons of this. What are the possible I guess side effects or negative aspect of this, if there are any?
No, for sure. Honestly, the only thing I felt was one time I took too much. That was like one of the first times. I just sat on the couch and that was it. And then I slept and I woke up and I was like, is this the worst it's gonna do? It's just make me hungry and sleep. And that's really, for me, that's the only experience I've had. I mean, I've heard people have like these out of like alien story. I don't know. I don't go on these weird tangents. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm actually more like balanced and normal. So that's how it works for me. But I definitely get more like creative. Like it like opens a whole new space of thinking, like ideas and like things for some reason I wouldn't think naturally. But I think that has to do with the endocannabinoid system I was mentioning earlier, how it kind of aligns your stuff. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, for the cons though, like, so I did, prior to even entering the cannabis world, my job would not allow it. So I can see how that can be like hard with people are interested, but they generally can't do it because their job, you got to provide. And I totally get that. So I can see, I think that's honestly the only con that I can think of, that their jobs don't let them if they're interested, like that story I shared with you about that cop that went through PTSD. Long story short, he couldn't sleep after the PTSD incident through his job, went to like his higher ups, and unfortunately they drug tested him instead of helping him when he tried it only one time to help him, and they said it didn't help, so I'm not doing it again, but I'm just letting you know I tried this like a couple weeks ago, but I think I need a break because I'm not sleeping. And they ended up drug testing and firing him instead of helping with his mental health. And for me, it's crazy because I think that our mental health system also could have a better system.
Agreed 100%.
So that's also how I got into cannabis too. I was like, that kind of just all aligned there.
Yeah. So if there's somebody listening right now that is, you know, like 100% on board, but they're struggling with the way to get other people to understand, where can they get more information about cannabis and the how it's used and the benefits, and they want to spread this kind of information around, where can people go?
Yeah, for sure. You know, Google is like, you know, our best friend sometimes.
Yes, it is.
But, you know, sometimes it's not all believable. But usually if you have a dispensary near you, you could go to their website. A lot of them do have them. Sometimes it's just the product info, but a lot of them will have like random educational pieces, even through Instagram on the page.
Right. Okay. Okay. And what I'm going to do for anybody that's watching or listening to this later, in the description of this video, I'm also going to have links to various places. And Evi, if you could provide some places that I can include in like the links and people can click on it, that would be amazing. This is really, really interesting because I at no point, I mean, I understand obviously the connection between cannabis and mental health, but at no point did I ever think, let me talk about it on my platform, and it like just makes perfect sense. Yeah. So this is the scary part for me now, because this is the part of the interview where I turn it over to you, and you are allowed to ask me anything that you want, and I have to answer it. This is always the scariest part, because I'm like, oh my God, what are they gonna ask me? So the floor is yours, and you can ask me anything that you want. What's your question? Okay.
So if you what is your, since you say you're a user, do you have like a favorite strain, or are you more of like an indica, sativa hybrid?
Actually, I will show you. Wait, I'm gonna go grab something real quick. I'm gonna show you something.
Cool.
Hold down the fort, Evie.
What's up, y'all? Hope you guys are having a great night tonight.
Okay, so I found. Oh, so there's this brand called Mood, and I have been a big fan of theirs for the longest time. I don't know. I don't know even know. Am I allowed to like show a bag? Am I allowed to show a bag? Like a bag?
Yeah, it's a bag you show. We'll put NFS, not for sale.
Yeah, right. Yes, not for sale. Just showing off what I have. So it's called Mood Cannabis, organic THC, and this is the Fruit Zinger mix.
Nice.
And I usually will take it. I will usually pop like half of one, usually like in the early evening, and that'll be fine. If I'm feeling really stressed about going into work, then I'll take half of one like before work. But this is 100% my favorite. 15 milligrams. It just works for me.
Yeah, nice.
You know, I made the mistake of doing a whole one before a performance. That's a bad idea. Bad idea, because I was sitting on the stage and I was looking at the lights and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And I was a little too relaxed. And yeah.
Like, great time, guys.
It's amazing. Oh my God. That's a good, yeah. So this is not an endorsement per se. This is the one that I personally use. It's from Mood, I think it's mood.com is where I get it, which is a lot of fun. But if you have any recommendations for me like that, I'll take it, because I trust you. You're an expert.
Yes, it's so wild. It's like,
right? Right.
Um,
And I can't wait. One day, Evie, you and I, we're going to meet up and we're going to have fun because it's long
yes,
overdue.
we'll have to do one together.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. So my last question to you is this, and once again, thank you so much for taking time out of
You
your day
too.
to chat with me. And anybody that came into this later, don't worry. This will be available, afterwards on both of our platforms, so you'll be able to see this full conversation. I'll also have it up on my podcast as well, so you'll be able to listen to it there. So my final question to you is this: if there's one thing that you wish people knew about cannabis that people just seem to not know or not understand, what is that one thing that you want people to understand?
The one thing
Mm-hmm.
I really feels like it can heal anything,
Mm-hmm.
like anything you're going through if you find the right like stuff for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Evie, you're amazing, and I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit and chat with me. And like this is fun. We got to do this more often, please.
I agree. Yes.
And to everybody that's in the chat right now, you can follow Evie at ev.vibes with a Z, because that's how awesome she is. And anybody listening to this or watching this later, in the description of this podcast, I'm going to have links that you can click on, including more information on Evie and all her platforms and and her store, all of that stuff that you can get information from. So Evie, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
And I'll see you later. Everybody, much love. Good vibes. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.